Hello and welcome back to another final table commentary. Today we got a 5:30 knockout from New Year's Series 2026. We got Ramunculus on the final table, Jamie Dwan, Romeo Pro, Stump Fed, I'm just call him Nick, Wizzo, and Jags. We got $8,000 for first place. The other numbers down there along the bottom, they don't really matter. You see them. Go look at them if you want. Romeo Pro is going to start things off with an open with the 8-6 suited and flop a little pair of sixes. Nick with a pair of queens and the backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw going on. They're going to have to call that small bet, make three of a kind on the turn. Romeo Pro hopefully slows down here. No real reason to bet the pair of sixes once again. Not going to get an ace to fold. Flush draw probably calls another bet. Oh, river's going to go check, right? Spade does complete the flush. Romeo blocks some boats, I suppose. Don't jam it all in. They check and lose. Good shit. Good start. Thanks to KalipokerTV Poker Replays for the replay. If at any point in time you find yourself not giving a shit for the commentary, there'll be a link in the description down below to the video and KalipokerTV, so you can go check out some more poker action in some silence. Jags is going to come in for a very wide open, but look at that stack. I didn't even realize 115 blinds for him. 10-7 suited, opens it up. We got ace 3 betting for Nick from the small. $760 bounty on Nick's head. We'll see if Jags comes along to the flop facing the small 3 bet. In position, they say no. How many players over here? We got 7 players in total, so we do have $1,700 locked up. Looks to be about a $500 ladder. That probably doesn't mean too much to these players. I'm just going to quickly make sure this is a 500. Yeah, and it is a New Year Series event. 5:30 entry. Wizzo limps in the queen 9 suited, and Jags raises up 4-3 off. We do get to see a flop, and it's 6-5-5. That's an open ender for Jags, who's loving life right now. I'll continue with some sort of bet. If I'm being honest, in some of these spots, I'm starting to see bigger raises on the flop. Like, if you go 4.5, 5 blinds, somewhere in there, it's really effective. And I think a pair of 3s folded under the gun there for Jamie Dwan. Although they're playing off 15 blinds, you don't really just want to rip it in. I think it was 3s. What the fuck does it matter? Romeo limps in ace 7. Nick will rip in the 4s for 27 blinds. Jags has 9-9. They're going to get this in here. 27 blinds effective. They do jam. Romeo folds. Looking for a 4 here, dealer. Backdoor flush draw. Oh my lord, a 4 on the turn. Jags says, what the fuck was that all about? Nick with the big cooler. In their favor, of course. Ace 9. Blind on blind versus ace jack. Maybe Wizzo opens to ace 8. They do find the open. Wizzo's getting after it. Ramunculus surely just jabs in ace jack and I think takes it down pre-flop. $800 bounty on their head. 12 more to call. We're very likely behind with this ace 8 here. Ace 9, probably an easy fold as well. Jamie says, no, I cover you. I'm going to go bounty hunting, looking for a 9. Backdoor spades. 9, dealer. Nope, not here, not today. Jamie's head's on the line. Got a $500 bounty on their head. Jack 2 suited in the small. That's an unfortunate happening for them. Ace 10 for Stump Fed. Might rip it in here under the gun. Just isolate the pot, and Romeo might call the King Jack. Ramunculus might get after it with 4-4. We'll see what the fuck happens here. Stump Fed says, fuck all that noise. We're going to limp it in and see what happens. Does Wizzo get aggressive with the ace and the 6? It's only a $500 bounty out there. I guess might be a bunch of limps and then... No. We'll just see what happens because I've got no idea apparently. Wizzo raises to 3.5 bigs. Jags, what do we do, dude? Do we isolate the pot and make it 9 blinds? 7.5 or something? A little bit smaller? Jag says, no, get out of there. $500 bounty. We got this huge stack ace 3 or some shit. Get out of there. Ramunculus with the 4s. They play call. Romeo. I would just jam here. Let's just get the king and the jack in. We're going to play for first place. Rip it in. There you go, Romeo. Good shit. You'll love to see Romeo just taking the spot here. I think Stump Fed gets it in. 2 bounties on the line for them. Stump Fed says no siree. A6 for Wizzo Wizzo. I think they fold and then Ramunculus calls with the 4s. Yeah. Looking for kings and jacks here. A 9 or an ace work. A spade for Jamie. Jack on the river. That will do. Romeo takes down a nice big pot and the bounty. Ramunculus says, what the hell was that river? But they had to sweat a lot of cards to win that pot there. But the 4s were looking good on the turn. Anyways, we're going to move on along. Romeo with a big stack. I guess they're only in 3rd place, but they're going to play very aggressive. And they come in for a limp here, which is very interesting. King 5-0 limps it in. Jack 2 completes the small, and Nick quickly raises to 4 3/4. And 2 quick folds, and we're moving on along. What the heck's going on here? We got a Queen 7 for Romeo. Are we still playing limps? We cover Wizzo Wizzo in the big blind. Stump Fed with Ace 8 on the button. Romeo says, let's open it up to 2 blinds. Stump Fed, do something fun, and 3-bet to 4.5. They're in the tank. I think it's coming in. Do we ever go? Aw, Stump Fed folds. Okay, so Wizzo calls the big blind. Queen Jack 8 flop. Pretty easy check. Bet fold for Wizzo Wizzo here with 3 in a row. 1.5 blinds is the size, and Romeo will take it down with the toppest of pairs. The smallest of bets. Blinds go up. Ace 5. Surely Romeo's back in there. Nick with 10-10. Wizzo Wizzo with 7-7. There's a world where Wizzo Wizzo rips it in here facing this 2-bet. Nick raises large, 5.22. The 7s just hit the muck, and Nick takes it down pre. Maybe Nick went too big there, like 3.5, 4 blinds works out just fine. Although, to be honest, if we're playing super deep, facing limps, I love raising to 6 blinds, but that's usually very early in a tournament and not on the final table here today. But that raise to 5.22 just looked a little bit too big in this situation, and Stump Fed's gonna limp in an ace and a 10. Jags with the king jack suited. Rips it in from the small. Surely we call. Here we go. We're gonna see 5 cards dealer. Ace high board. 2 pairs though. No help for Stump Fed, and Jags does get a bounty there. $1,300 bounty after the cooler earlier where the 4s hit the set. Jags has that big stack again. 90 blinds for him. Wizzo Wizzo with the Queen 7 suited will limp it in. We got a Queen and a 4 for Ramunculus. They're going to come along from the small blind. Romeo with Jack 5 in the big, covering both players. Checks it on back, and a 10-8-3 flop. Wah-wee-wee-wah. Wizzo Wizzo does have the flush draw. That is something. They bet 1 big blind. Nothing going on for Ramunculus or Romeo. They'll both just fold. Unless Romeo wants to get really sticky. They do have some backdoor straight draws and a backdoor flush draw. Not enough to check raise though. Would have been really cool. And would not have worked out for him. Queen Jack might just rip from the button. 10 blinds. Yoink it in. Ramunculus will take the spot and take the pot down pre. Jags King 7. I think we open. Ace 8 is close to a jam. Ramunculus looks around and says, I'm in last place. I think I have to rip it in here. They do find it. 42%. Oh, I guess we got 3 players still. They will be the favorite here. Not by too much. 62%. Okay, that's pretty good. Pretty good here. Jag says $800 bounty. 10 more blinds to call. I think they're going to find it. We could be wrong, though. We don't really want to double them up now, do we? This bounty's not huge. I think a call still comes in. Oh, no, I'm just wrong. Jag says I just don't want to double them up, I suppose. Which makes sense, you know. Homunculus sitting there with 16 blinds. The situation is still the same as it was, you know. Whereas if you call and you double up your opponent, they're up to like some 30-something blinds. The situation's much different now. And Homunculus is a very capable player, so you don't really just want to give him chips. Nick with the king-queen will come in for the open. King-jack suited for Jags. Might find another 3-bet here. Oh, they play call from the small and we get a 7-4-2 flop. No flush draw. Immediate anyways. Jags with the backdoor diamond draw sees a big bet, and this is kind of what I was talking about earlier with the flop bets, where you just go with a big size and you take the pot down quite frequently, and it's a very effective value bet too, of course. A very effective value bet size, I should say. We do got a little situation here. Nick with ace queen, Wizzo with the ace and the king will 3-bet to 6 blinds. We just get a call by Nick and a king 10-2 flop. Top pair, top kicker, Wizzo 11 life, just sweating a jack here. Bets really small, quick call, 2 on the turn, pairs the board. 15 into 21. Do we take the spot or give him a free river? Wizzo says we'll go really small and a queen on the river. A little bit of showdown value for Nick, but they obviously lose to any king. Queen 10 somehow, but that wouldn't value bet the river. Aces still jam the river. Ace queen finds the call for Nick after making the pair queens on the river. 52 blinds for Wizzo. That's bad news for the table, but good news for us as we get to see a very, very good player with a bunch of chips. Ace 9 Homunculus opens it up to 2 blinds. Do we rip? I think 2 blinds is pretty cool. In the tank, Homunculus makes it 2 blinds. Nick calls the big blind and flops top pair. Bad news. This is why you would jam pre-flop. Queen 2 defending the big blind. Flopping the top is the pairs is what you don't want. You bet 1 big blind. That makes sense. And a quick jam, easy fold, and we're moving on along. 11 blinds for Homunculus now. We're 5-handed. We've got 3 grand locked up in bounties on the line still. 5-4 suited for Romeo. He coming for the min raise. Queen 6 suited calls from the small. Jack 3 will complete the big blind and a 7-6-2 flop. Queen 6 does have the best hand for the time being. Romeo with the open ender and a backdoor flush draw. Wizzo. Well, not too much, but a backdoor straight draw, I suppose, and the backdoor diamond draw as well. We get a free 5 of clubs on the turn. Wizzo has a straight draw to the 4. Romeo with a straight draw to the 3. A pair of 5s. The 6s lead out small. 2 into 6.6. Wizzo's out of there. Romeo might think about a raise. Go for a bluff here. Now they land on the call option and bang off 2 pairs, 4 clubs out there. This goes check. 1 liner to an 8 or 6. Or sorry, 8 or 3. My apologies. 1 liner to an 8 or 3, and the 2 pairs for Romeo will take the pot down. The players get a little break, and we'll quickly skip right the fuck on along here. Alrighty. Get back to the game, Brendan. What's going on here? 6-7 for Romeo? Nah, no, we don't play this dude. 10-4 for Wizzo. Do we just fold? Is it a walk for Jags? Or does Wizzo say, fuck it, dude, let's limp it in? What do you think, Wizzo? No, just a walk, dude. 10-4 sucks. Ace 9 for Romeo. That'll be a play. Jags with king 10 in the small. I think it's supposed to be a 3-bet sometimes. Well, in this instance, it would be a 2-bet. No way, man. I just call here every time. I could be wrong. Like, it's just got so much playability. 0.5 blinds. You got Ramunculus in the big. You want them to see a flop. You want them to stay in the pot. Queen 9-3 is the flop. We got a straight draw to the jack for Jags. Backdoor flush draw in there. King or 10 would give him the best hand. Romeo with the pair of 9s bets 1 blind. A check raise on the flop is really cool, but I just call here. Given the price, given the situation. Jags says let's raise though. I do like it. There's a cool little play here. Ace 9 in a very tough spot. Finds the call. Bangs off 2 pairs. 11 in the middle. And Jags might just continue firing. Although I'm wrong often. They check. 2 pairs for Romeo. They bet small. 3.5 blinds. Into a pot of what would be 18 if Jags finds the call here. I don't think we do though, right? Aren't we kind of just done with this bad boy? We blocked the fucking flush draw. We got a little straight draw to the jack. That ace was a bad card, obviously. And if we're going to continue telling this story, don't we continue with the betting lead? Instead of check calling the small bet? Like, why don't we bet really small as Romeo rips it in and Jags makes a pair of kings on the river, blocking the jack 10 straight that got there. There's still some missed flush draws, I suppose. Some sort of like jack 8 suited. Man, you're really reaching here. Romeo does play very aggressive pre-flop. They've got a lot of hands that they play, even if they're limping it in. I don't even remember if this was a limp pot pre. Romeo's got 2 pairs any which way you want to slice this one up. You got the check mark by their name, even though it's actually not a check mark. It says 100%. Not a check mark, you frickin' idiot. Anyways. King 10. Straight blocker. Second pair finds the call. Kind of felt like that was going to happen. Romeo's in first place, and I absolutely love to see that shit. King, queen for Romeo in the big. Jack 9 suited for Jags on the button. Surely opens it up or limps it in or something or other. 2.1 blinds is their size. Romeo in the big. A 3-bet's fun, but calling is also cool. They just 3-bet jam. Easy fold by for Jags here. Interesting little happening there for Romeo. Very unlikely to get called in that situation, so he says, I'm just gonna rip it in, dude. Yeah, Wizard with an ace and a 5. They come in for the open under the gun 5-handed. 10-9 suited for Jags. They come in for a call. Romeo in the small with a 7 and a 4. It ain't suited. Oh, they're gonna fold. I thought they were gonna call. Jack 5 comes along for Nick here, and a 10-3-3 flop. That's top pair for Jags. Ace 5 with a backdoor straight draw and an overcard. Jack 5 suited. A little bit of backdoor value, or a little bit of backdoor equity. One club out there and an overcard. Nick just folds the big blind. Jags calls with the toppest of pairs, of course, and a queen on the turn. Wizzo might go for a bluff. Aw, shit. Jags covers him. Do we ever try to get like 7s, 8s, 9s to fold or something like this? Pair of 10s probably calls the turn. Queen on the river. Yeah, it's just going to be tough to get anything to fold, really. An ace high, does it have any showdown value? Very little. But maybe some. Maybe like a king jack. Jack 9 or something that might bluff you on the river. Pair of 10s goes for a bet here. Nice little fold there by Wizzo. Wizzo says, yeah, I'm probably just no good here. Now, Ramunculus Ace-9 will rip it in from the cutoff. 7.5 blinds. I don't think anybody calls here. Small bounty. Wizzo Wizzo has 8-3 in the big blind. 6 blinds to call. And Wizzo Wizzo lets that go. King 10 in the big, and Queen 8. Romeo raises the 2 blinds. Wizzo Wizzo with an ace and a 9. They call from the small, King 10 in the big blind. We'll see what happens. The call makes a lot of sense, and we get a King Queen 2 flop. 2 diamonds out there for Romeo with the middle pair. Personally, I check here. Romeo likes to bet, though. They go 2 blinds. Wizzo Wizzo has an easy fold with not much going on there. Ace-9 of clubs. Jags with the toppest of pairs. Some players check raise. Jags finds a call, and I like it. 7 on the turn. Might go check check, or Romeo bets small. I don't think a big bet comes in here with the pair of queens. Romeo does check it. 7 on the river. Yeah. Diamonds miss, Jack 10. Some sort of like 10-9. Probably not. Maybe it would call the big blind. Probably not though. Some sort of like ace 10, ace jack. Diamonds, I said earlier. There's a few missed bluffs. Jags goes for a value bet there with the pair of kings, and Romeo looks him up with the pair of queens and sees the bad news. 2-2 for Ramunculus in the big. Does this get in pre? I think only if Jags limps, they rip. Ramunculus, do we fold here? It's a weird spot with 2s. It's not a good calling hand per se, even though you have 50% here. We'll see what Ramunculus thinks. We got 9 blinds in total. Ramunculus takes the spot. We're looking for a king 5 heart, jack 9. 9 on the river will do. That was a lot of outs, dude. What else is going on now? We got Nick with ace 8, Romeo 8-10. Don't rip it in, Romeo. Oh, they jam. Okay. Good luck. We need a 10 here, guys. 10 on the flop. Holy fuck. No spade draw, just the ace is what Nick is looking for. And Romeo, I get the bounty. What was it, like 700 bucks? Not even 900 bucks? Whatever. Romeo says, fuck you, dude. I'll take that bot down. Well, they got 6-7. What do we do here? We're playing some 60 blinds deep with Jags. I think it's an open. Wizzo Wizzo's out of there, and Jags will fold the big blind. What an interesting little final table it's been here. Uh, 10-10. Wizzo Wizzo will open it on up. We'll see what size they go here. 2.3. Interesting. They're covered by the other 2. They got a strong hand. It's always interesting to see what size they go. And Romeo does defend the big blind with 10-6 suited. We get an 8-5-3 flop. Some backdoor equity for Romeo. Can think about a check raise or calling a small bet. We face a overbet. And yeah, I think we can just fold just our backdoor equity there. 4-2 suited. Romeo will probably raise it up here. A big size, yeah. 4.5. Okay, that's bigger than I was expecting. But a big size, yeah. And the 4-2 takes it down pre. Ace 2 and an ace and a 2. Romeo on the button opens up there. Ace 2, Jags in the big blind. Can think about a 3-bet. Who covers who? I think it's a call. Click the call, dude. Although if we do 3-bet and take the pot down, I think we're in first place, which is always good news. So there's the 3-bet. Jags knows best unless Romeo finds a 4-bet here with the ace 2 off. No, they let that shit go. Wizzo Wizzo is 6-5. They're gonna fold the button. Jags with a jack and an 8. They limp it on in. 8 and a 3 forced to see a flop unless Romeo goes for a raise, and then we'll go to a flop in a juiced pot. Seven blinds. No, we are not going to a flop here. Nice big sizing by Romeo. I was not expecting this size. I was expecting like 4 blinds. Romeo says 7, dude. Make it 7 blinds. King and a jack for Jags. King and a jack, opening it up. 10-7 for Wizzo. Wizzo in the big blind. Not gonna play, not gonna defend. Move on along. $10-7. That's not a 7. 10-9. 10-9 limps it in, flops a pair of 10s, and Jags has a straight draw to the jack and the overcard with the queen. Ba-boo boo boo. Wizzo bets 1.5. Oh, there's that jack. Jags makes the nuts. Wizzo checks it on over to him. Very tough spot for the pair of 10s here with the straight draw to the 7 or queen with the... I don't know, man. 3 of a kind draw? What do we do? 4.5 blinds. We probably call with that straight draw in there. At least it's not a 7. 7 would be a nasty river, that's for true. 5 of hearts. Goes check, jam, fold. Unless Wizzo looks them up here. So there's like king, queen, miss spades. Some sort of like 9-6. 9x, I guess. King 9, ace 9. There's a jam though. Wizzo with a 10 of spades. That doesn't actually mean too much. You don't expect your opponent to use that card to bluff. That 9 is actually a pretty poor card to be holding, if we're being honest. Wizzo says, you know what? It's actually a fair card to be holding because we block the straight queen 9 and 9-7. Finds the hero call and sees the bad news. Jag says GL legend, and Romeo is a legend. That's for true. They're going to come in for the open here, 8-2 off. We are heads up, playing about 50-some blinds deep. 57, 58 or whatever. Queen 9 again flops a straight draw. This time to the 10. Romeo says, let's go for a big bet. 5 1/4 in the middle. 3 3/4. 1 blind. I'm just so wrong. Romeo bets 1 blind. Check raise is cool, but if we're being honest, I usually call here. There's that check raise. Very cool to see. About 5 blinds to go, and Romeo has no reason to hang in there. That's why I was thinking big bet on the flop. Deter some check raises. Whatever. He had 8-2. 6-5 limps it on in. Romeo with an ace and a 7. Might raise it up, dude. 3.5 blinds. That's a very small size for Romeo, bro. Very small size. That looks like a come along size. 6-5 says, okay, I come along. Jack 8-7 is the flop. We got bottom pair versus the open ender. Romeo bets small again here, right? Is it something stupid like 1.7? Do you ever bet 1 blind? How small do you go, Romeo? Or do you go huge? No, it's small, right? It's 1 blind. It's, yeah, just tiny. Super tiny size. Jags with the open ender in position. Finds the call. Ace on the turn. 2 pairs. The flush did complete. 9 1/4 in the middle. 10-9 is also a flop straight. Romeo surely just goes for some value. 11 blinds is probably too much for a straight draw to call again. Sizing up the river jam. Over bet jam, of course, but... Anyways, Romeo takes it down on the turn there. 9-5-0 will open it up, and king in... Oh, a limp pot. King says, no, it's not. King will raise to like 3.5 blinds, and Romeo will fold. Or 3-bet. To 6.5. Just do it. Just click it. No, Romeo folds. There's no way that's the size he'd go either. 2-4 suited. Open it up. Oh, we're playing a limp pot game. That's kind of stupid. But, you know, it makes sense at the same time, too. It just slows the action down. But with Romeo Pro in the big blind, we'll see a lot of raises. Jack 7 flops a pair of jacks. Flush draw for Jags. 4 high. Surely we go for a bet. 1 blind is the size. Romeo calls and we're coming to the turn. Or they raise it up. No, they just call, of course. It's a pair of jacks. 4 1/4 in the middle. A few straights get there on that 9 turn. Queen 10, 10 7. A few straights, he said. Feels like there's more in there, though. I don't see any. Anyways, flush draw bets again. Romeo calls with the second pair. 9 on the river pairs the board. Very, very good call by Romeo. That 9 is not a great card. Diamonds do miss. There's some straights that get there. You still lose to a king. You lose to a 9 now. If he has like 10-9 for the open ender on the flop, that probably doesn't bet the turn. Anyways, Jags goes for a 9.5 blind bet into 12. This looks like value, but I think Romeo will look him up. I think I would fold like a wuss. Yeah, this is a very strong line by Jags in my opinion. Even though the flush draw misses. Romeo deep in the tank here. This is heads up poker. Yeah, maybe you do just have to find the call, Romeo says. I think so, dude. I think so. I think you just have to find the call. They're totally right. We got 5-3 though, opening up to 2.5 blinds. 10-9 calls. We get an ace 7-6 flop, which is kind of interesting with the ace high board. Jags with the straight draw to the 8. Romeo with the straight draw to the 4. Jags has a backdoor flush draw in there as well. I think you have to call the flop. You got 2 overcards to these second pair of 7s. 8 blinds is the size. Just kidding. How do you call the flop there? 8 blinds. With a straight draw to the 8. Whatever, man. We're moving on along. Ace jack, queen jack. Boing, boing, boing. Oh, excuse me. Oh, shit. Oh, excuse me. Okay, queen jack limps it in. Jags with the ace and the jack will raise to 4 blinds. Yeah, Romeo calls. We're off to the flop. A little 8-7-3 action. Not much doing here for Romeo. 2 overs, backdoor straight draw. We're in position. This needs to be a super small bet or we're folding. A check is even smaller than a bet. Does Romeo take over the betting lead now? They love the betting lead. Do it, Romeo. Try to get this ace jack to fold. No, we get a free king on the turn. No equity picked up for Romeo. They are drawing to a queen, 3 outs to the river, 8 1/4 blinds in the middle. There's no way they fight for this, but another free card. Another free card for Romeo. They take it and they get a 2. Sorry, there's no way to make that interesting. Already had 3 outs going to the river, and who knows if they even had that many. Ace jack checks. And Romeo shows it on down and loses a small one. 4, 5, and a king and a 5. King 5 opens it up to 2.3 blinds. Romeo will defend the big blind with a call, surely. Right, Romeo? Feels like a 3-bet's coming in, but I don't know why. 4, 5. Why do we 3-bet? I don't quite get it, man. Do we get king 5 suited to fold? No, we flop a straight draw to the 3, ace high board. Jags with some backdoor equity, backdoor Broadway, backdoor wheel draw, and the backdoor spade draw in there too. King high is still best and even dominates Romeo. 4 blinds into 17. Does king high call? Let's see a turn dealer. 4 on the turn is fucking ridiculous, dudes. Absolutely ridiculous. Romeo. Okay, dude. Sure. Make a pair of 4s, bet half pot, and take it on down. With the best hand? There's no way there's just a 4 of hearts on the turn. Got a queen on the river. Like if I'm Romeo, I check fold here. Jag says king high. Hard to hero call another bet. Hard to bluff. Does Jags ever find a bluff here, dude? Romeo checks over the pair of 4s. King high does not have showdown value. Offer up the bounty. He does jam it in. Romeo's got the 100% by his name once again. There's no way he finds a hero call though here, right? A heart draw miss. Jack 10. King jack. Somehow king 5 of spades is in there. Romeo goes deep in the tank with the pair of 4s. This is for the tournament. He covers Jags here. No way he calls, right? This is a fold, yeah? Tournament persists, yeah? The tournament just keeps going, right? No way Romeo calls here. Can you imagine he just goes all the way in the tank, calls with a pair of 4s, wins the tournament? Romeo would just be a hero. Jags called him a legend at the beginning of this tournament. Romeo didn't say good luck back. There's the fold by Romeo. Show him the king 5. That's a nasty bluff there by Jags. And they get it on through. King 5 of spades comes along on the 4 turn. Doesn't make much. Oh, I guess he had the straight draw to the 3. But knowing he needs to bluff the river. That's difficult right there. I don't quite get it, but it worked out. And it's fun to watch. I just can't quite explain what happened there, you know? I'm the commentator. Jag said B300, right? I don't quite know what they're referring to. Some sort of inside joke of some sort. Jags with a pair of 3s. Calls the flop here. Makes 3 of a kind. Romeo with nothing. They got no equity here. 100% beside Jag's name, and they lead out the turn, taking over the betting lead, and they might have just bought the pot there. That oink doink doink. Romeo calls somehow. What are we doing, Romeo? When we wake up a pair of kings on the fucking river. So Romeo ran pretty hot to get to second place, but look at this. King on the river. Both flush draws miss. If Jags rips, I think Romeo might hero call. Rip it in, dude. That's such a greedy value bet, but I think you take the spot. There's still a few worse 3x that calls. Jag says maybe I'll go for the check raise. I don't think that's as likely to work. We will see what the hell happens here. Does Romeo value bet? Surely. We try to get an 8 or a 5 to call here every time. And we can go pretty big here. Romeo, don't jam it in. Half pot. Okay, I was expecting quite a bit bigger. Jags will go in the tank and surely value jam the river here. There's the jam. Romeo's in a tough spot. To be fair though, I would have preferred the hero call just facing a jam instead of the check raise jam. The check raise jam feels stronger, but if I'm Romeo, I still might hero call. Yeah, Romeo says, yeah, fuck it, we gotta click the call button. Making the pair of kings on the river after floating the turn. They see the bad news. Jags gets the victory and a very well played game. Jags started this tournament off here with the big stack, lost some pots to Romeo heads up. And they also lost the cooler against Nick there, 4s and 9s to start this bad boy off early. But they get the job done here. Very good game by Jags. Always fun to watch Romeo get lucky and take down a bunch of pots. Play super aggressive. Wizzo is always a wizard. It was a fun tournament. Ramunculus is fun to watch too. Stumpfed, I haven't seen them in a while. Jamie Dwan. Oh yeah, very fun tournament. Anyways, that's the end of the show. So if you made it all the way through, thanks for checking this bullshit out. If you got any comments or suggestions on improving the show, fire them down in the comments below. And until next time, adios amigos.